I wouldn't mind you being premier.
Well, I'd probably make a good premier. In fact, I assure you I'd make a good premier. All our policies are designed.
Marc Emery, by the way, is the president of the BC Marijuana Party. I'm always starting in the middle of conversations. People say, who are you talking to? So, Marc Emery, welcome to Ingram. We've talked before.
Yes.
Civil liberties is what you're all about, isn't it?
All my life I've waged a war against basically the state trying to impose its will upon people. And I wouldn't even mind if they were friendly fascists and did it politely, but you know, there's a lot of cops beating on people, especially in the cannabis culture in this community.
Isn't that sort of a neat one? I just love this. I love it. And you've got your Cannabis Culture magazine.
Yes.
And I have to admit, the kids love that magazine.
Well, you know, it's not aimed at kids.
You
High Times magazine
you,
is aimed at kids, and our magazine is actually aimed at people about 30 years old.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to bring one with you, did you?
I didn't know.
Oh, sorry, because I would have loved it. It's like reading a wine connoisseur's magazine.
Yeah, that's the catalog, yeah. And ultimately, that's what finances the BC Marijuana Party to a large degree, too. Again, with something we should be emphasizing, you know, there should be a marijuana plant right on the Premier's desk, because that is our primary cash crop, and it's the obligation of the Premier's office to promote agricultural products that emerge out of BC. I think I did really well in the debate last night on CBC, who were great enough to invite me, but most fortunately, they put me smack in the middle of Joy McPhail, Christy Clark, and boy, can those two go at it like...
Oh, yes. That would have been...
The ultimate Freudian slip was on last night, too. And, Christy Clark at one time, debating quite aggressively with Joy McPhail, said tax cunt instead of tax cut. Ooh. And, of course, that was when it was nationwide, all over the country. And I thought, well, that'll keep people hanging around for a second bout. You know, and but of course everybody in the audience was just, their eyes just went bolt upright, and of course she tried to continue going on, and she did a good job making it look like, you know, hey, it's cool, I'm not ruffled by that or anything, but of course, you know, everybody in the audience and in the studio was just bolt upright when they heard that. That's the best Freudian slip I've ever heard on live TV.
Not bad.
Yeah, especially from Christy Clark, because if I'd have said that, nobody would have invited me back on the air for a year, right? But considering she's the next probably cabinet minister for something or other, that'll linger in memory forever. As the Green Party are Luddites of environmental fascism. They really are. They're the worst possible alternative.
Well, why don't you say what you think?
That's the problem. The Liberals got all these troglodytes and holdovers from SoCred hanging around like Harold Long up on the Sunshine Coast and what have you, and they're just lying in wait. They're against vouchers. They're against legalizing marijuana. Yeah, but we're looking at a fairly curmudgeonly old bunch of, you know, they look like they're modern, but they're still ancient, you know, people from the 1950s running for the Liberal Party, really. They just look young, but they think old. I was arrested 10 times in 3 years, as well as raided 4 times, so it was an endless series of being arrested, thrown in jail overnight, added more charges, legal bills became unbelievable, no money around, and I had all these employees with nothing to sell because the police took it all, so it's a burdensome situation. But you learn a lot from it. I've really been toughened up a lot. The opposite of what the police want happens, because what they do is they make me stronger, so that now the thought of being arrested doesn't bother me, the thought of being raided doesn't bother me. I've learned not to have any assets around, so there's nothing to take, and so I become very self-sufficient and very capable dealing in large sums of money that go through my hands really fast, but I don't actually own anything, so if they come to get me, there's just nothing to take anymore. So it's made me a much better revolutionary.
We have a lot in common, Marc.
I'm not afraid of my neighbors. I'm not afraid of the people down there. I've worked in the downtown east side for 7 years, and I'm not afraid of any of them. And they've never threatened or assaulted me in any way. I am afraid of the police. I am afraid of my government. And I think most Canadians feel the same way. When I go down the highway and I see a flashing police car, I don't say, oh, I'm so relieved that he's got another dangerous speeder. I'm thinking, oh, thank God I slowed down in time, or it'd have been me. And that's what I think most Canadians and most people in British Columbia feel. They have a sense of fear in the presence of a politician, a police officer, or a government bureaucrat.